What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Manchester City video, where today we're going to be doing my match review, match reaction and match analysis of Manchester City's FA Cup final loss to Crystal Palace by 1-0. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video and do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think needs to change this summer for Manchester City? Because we're dealing with some facts now. Facts are it's a trophyless season for Manchester City. I know some of you guys are saying we've won the Community Shield, but Community Shield isn't a major honour. The Club World Cup isn't a major honour. When it comes to major honours, it's the League Cup, it's the FA Cup, it's the Premier League, it's the Champions League, and we've not won any of them. So no trophies for Manchester City when it comes to major trophies, that is, in the season, which automatically makes this season a very unsuccessful season from Manchester City's high standards. But let's speak about this game. Let's speak first about the lineups, and I don't know why Man City have chosen to start changing things up in time for a cup final. The substitutions were a bit strange. Trying to second guess Pep Guardiola isn't an easy thing to do. It doesn't really make any sense, but what I am going to say is that if Man City, who did have numerous opportunities in this game, put their opportunities away, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. But football, it's fickle. It's based on results, which means we've got to talk about why we've got this result and why we've ended up losing to Crystal Palace. And one suggested reason would be Man City changing things when they don't really need to. And I think my biggest concern from this was the lack of midfield presence. Man City's aim was crystal clear. We're starting Omar, Marmoush, Erling, Haaland, Savinho, Jeremy Doku. They're going with pace, they're going with directness, they want to attack, they want to score goals against Crystal Palace. And yet here we are, drawing a blank. Again, consecutive games where we've not scored a single goal. We've scored one goal in 3 games, against Wolves, against Southampton, against Crystal Palace. No disrespect to them sides, but we're not taking on, Champions League semi-finalists and, Real Madrids and Liverpool who are winning the Premier League. We're taking on teams who Manchester City should be on paper beating. And they're not beating them. They're losing a big cup final here. And I think it's just further reiterating to me the need for change at Manchester City. The squad needs shaking up. The time for change is right now as far as I'm concerned. If we're going to go on a transition, then we may as well take on a full transition. And if that transition has to last a couple of seasons, then so be it, because the transition needs to happen. The old guard, the players that have served us so well over the years and delivered us so many happy memories, it's a wonderful achievement and we're all ever so thankful for that. Unfortunately, when it comes to top-end professional football, reigns come to an end, and Man City's reign has come to an end, and now is the time for City to start shaking things up, changing things, and bringing in fresh new players with fresh new ideas and fresh new energy to the team. Because what we saw on display against Crystal Palace, although statistically says City played a good game, and yes, they did have their opportunities, when it comes to the only statistic that matters, which is the result, City just aren't delivering this season. And we've still got 2 big Premier League games to go, and there's every chance here that Man City could have their worst season since 2009, I think it was, where we finished 10th. Oh yeah, not very good for Manchester City. So that's the thing that we're looking at here now, because that's how bad the season's been. That's the reality that Man City are looking at. And if they don't make Champions League, then we're looking at Man City's worst season in 16 years, which, going off the fact that this was a Premier League winning team last season, suggests that things have gone seriously wrong. It's not just a case that, we've not had Rodri for the season. Then there's clearly more to this. And I just think that now's a good time for us to start to change things up. And I spoke in my preview about Man City not going down the sentimental side of things. You've got a cup goalkeeper. For me, cup final, you go with your strongest team. You go with Ederson in goal, not Stefan Ortega. you've got to be brutal. Manuel Akanji, well, City's settled back line of Mateus Nunes on the right, Nico O'Reilly on the left, Ruben Diaz and Josko Gvardiol going through as their two centre-back pairing has worked really well. It's helped us have a nice, good, unbeaten run. It's helped us to look into keeping things in our own hands when it comes to the Champions League race, and bar the bad result that we had last week against Southampton, which I will add, again, we chose to change the lineup and shake things up at the back, and all of a sudden it looks disjointed and it looks unsettled. And then lessons that we had last week haven't been learnt this week, because again, backline just look unsettled. Look how easy it was for Crystal Palace to have just one attack, come forward, comfortable goal for Eze, and City just at 6s and 7s, headless chickens chasing back. And Crystal Palace's attack, I spoke about it in my preview, how good it is. It's going to pull strings on Man City, and the fact that they've only really needed to come forward and create one opportunity in the game and win the game just doesn't sit right with me. It's not good enough for Manchester City. It's up to Man City to do something about it. Now, I'm really happy in the press conference afterwards that Man City have chosen not to go down the angle they went down last week, which was moaning and complaining about how a team wants to set up. If a team wants to sit deeper, then it's so important that we break them teams down, that we grab the opening goal, the all-important opening goal, and we haven't, and it automatically puts us under pressure. We didn't have the midfield presence there to deal with any kind of midfield control. They've just gone with all-out attack, and they've just basically had no end product, because there were numerous opportunities, in particular in that second half. Bernardo Silva missing a good opportunity, Nico O'Reilly missing a good opportunity, Claudio Echeverri, brilliant to see him come on and make his Man City debut. Why on earth a player features for the first time in the squad in an FA Cup final when not featuring for months and months, and then gets chucked on with 15 minutes remaining and asked to make the difference? Is just basically chucking a player in at the deep end and leaving the player out for the Wolves. Now, he did run around, he did a lot of running, there was good energy there, there was a couple of silly mistakes in there, he missed a good opportunity, and I'm just a bit worried now about a player that's clearly a very talented player that's good enough for Man City's first team, because obviously he's good enough to be getting 15 minutes in an FA Cup final. I'm just worried about what that's going to do when a player comes on and they end up having that big opportunity, they miss that opportunity. A player so young, how do they get over it? Is he even going to feature for Man City again this season? I have my doubts about it. So it just all looked a bit disjointed. The wingers, Savinho and Jeremy Doku, no end product once more, coming from Man City's wide players. There was no end product coming in from Omar Marmoush, missing the penalty, a wonderful opportunity. But when Erling Haaland starts and he's Man City's penalty taker and he's Man City's highest paid player, Erling Haaland really shouldn't be handing that ball over to Omar Marmoush. Erling Haaland should be backing himself 100% to say, I score goals, I'm the Man City penalty taker, give me that ball and let me equalise and let me get Man City back into this game. And he handed it over to Omar Marmoush instead. And it's just typical City that Omar Marmoush ends up missing the penalty, and what I thought was not a very good penalty. If you're going to go not into the corner of the goal and you're going to put height onto it, you're running the risk of the goalkeeper making the save. And it was a perfect height for Dean Henderson to make a comfortable one-handed save. It needed to be low and on the ground. The keeper doesn't get down, we score the goal because it's not in the corner, and you put height on it, the keeper's going to save it if they guess the right way. And it was just a disappointing penalty, and I felt like from that moment that this day wasn't going to belong to Manchester City, and it belonged to Crystal Palace instead. So yeah, Bernardo Silva went down for the penalty, was a talking point. They were talking about, because I think the referee's given the penalty as the on-field decision. I don't think there was a clear and obvious error for the penalty to be overturned. I thought it was a bit weak, if I'm being completely honest, but yeah, here we are. I didn't think Stuart Atwell had a very good game. I don't think he's a very good referee. We've had our discrepancies with Stuart Atwell before, from that United game a couple of years back at Old Trafford with the offside goal, and that all went through VAR, and things didn't go our way that day. And here we are with things going through Stuart Atwell, VAR, and things not going our way again with the handball from Dean Henderson, which was a clear and obvious handball. I was at the game, so I don't know what angles that they've used, but I've been told that they weren't allowed to use still images. They didn't have the correct angles to use to determine that it was a handball, and they judged it with the ball coming over the top, that Erling Haaland was going to knock the ball and round the goalkeeper, but it was going to be taken out wide, and therefore taking the threat of a goal scoring opportunity away. So it wasn't enough for a red card, because it's not deemed a denial of a goal scoring opportunity. When the keeper handballs it, he stops Erling Haaland taking the touch. Erling Haaland takes that touch if the goalkeeper keeps his hands to himself. He doesn't. His hands are outside the box and it's deliberate handball. And as far as I'm concerned, Erling Haaland takes that touch. One of two things is going to happen. He's going to round the goalkeeper and he's going to then have an open goal. There's two covering defenders coming in. Erling Haaland's quick. He's got half a yard on the defenders. And with a good touch for Erling Haaland, he scores the goal. The other thing that happens is Dean Henderson keeps his hands to himself, Erling Haaland rounds him, and contact comes in. The question then comes, because it's right on the edge of the penalty area, right on the line, does the contact come in the penalty area or not? Is it a penalty or not? Then is it a denial of a goal scoring opportunity? And is it a red card? There's lots of ifs and buts, and I just felt like they played it really safe and thought, do you know what, we'll just stick with the on-field decision and go with that instead. But we'll never know what was going to happen with that situation, because Dean Henderson took that opportunity away and deliberately handballed the ball outside of his area to ensure that Erling Haaland was not going to be in a position to potentially score a goal and equalise. And for that matter, maybe I'm biased, but I thought he should have seen red. I thought he should have been sent off. It leaves a very bitter taste in our mouths that a couple of minutes later we have a penalty and Dean Henderson's there saving the penalty when it should have been Turner in goal instead, the backup goalkeeper. And it becomes a very difficult game for Crystal Palace, defending deep with 10 men rather than 11. And it's a very different game with 10 men and 11, but with how Man City's shooting was yesterday and been lack of clinical touch, Crystal Palace had probably had an impact. Crystal Palace had probably still gone on to have won the trophy. So I don't want to use officiating and everything as an excuse. I think the thing that's gone wrong the most here for City, because they had their opportunities, they created opportunities yesterday. Yeah, they looked a bit clueless, working the ball to Akanji all the time and crosses going into the box, and crosses weren't working for Man City. Crystal Palace are a very good defensive team. They're going to deal with balls into the box all day, but Eberechi missed a good opportunity, Bernardo missed a good opportunity, Nico O'Reilly missed a good opportunity, we've missed a penalty. There's been really good opportunities here for Man City and they've not taken their opportunities. We've lost this final because we didn't score goals, and we've not scored goals now in consecutive games, and we've scored 1 goal in 3 games. And we've got 2 massive Premier League games coming up against Bournemouth at home and Fulham away, where we need to pick up 4 points from them 2 games to secure Champions League football. We lose on Tuesday night, and I'm going to go as far to say I don't think Man City are getting Champions League football for next season, and we're depending on favours then. So, yeah. We're outside the Champions League. We've lost the FA Cup. It's as worse as it could be here for Manchester City, with loads of talking points. I do want to end the video by saying a huge congratulations to Crystal Palace. If it was anybody else other than City playing them yesterday in the final, I'd have said the exact same as what I said with the League Cup when I saw Newcastle win that, in saying it's great scenes. It's brilliant to see a club that Newcastle didn't win a trophy in so long, and Crystal Palace have never won a major domestic competition before. It's brilliant to see for them, and for Crystal Palace, have got no discrepancies against them. It's great to see for them, and incredibly disappointing for us. But we have to deal with that. We have to move on, and we have to keep pushing. We've got to secure them 4 points before we can start thinking about the summer transfer window, because we want to go through a transition. A transition gets easier for City, who are in the Champions League next season, than a team who's in the Europa League next season, and the finest of margins are coming in. I do want to end the video by just saying keep an eye on Nottingham Forest result today against West Ham away from home, because that does have implications on what the European spots means for 8th place. So if Nottingham Forest end up losing today, they cannot catch Chelsea. If Nottingham Forest draw today, then they're going to have to beat Chelsea by more than 4 goals in the final game to overtake them, because if Chelsea finish 7th at the end of the season, then 8th spot does become a European spot, a Europa Conference League spot, and Bournemouth are still competing for a Europa Conference League spot. Fulham still in the race as well. Keep an eye on what they're doing, and the importance of that for Manchester City is this is what our season's become now, and keep an eye on what Bournemouth and Fulham are doing, because there is every possibility that come close of play today that both Bournemouth and Fulham have nothing to play for, which sometimes means they go on the beach and it makes it a bit easier if City turn up, which City don't seem to be turning up. We're making hard work of everything, so it's going to be a difficult game regardless. But if City do turn up and make these games about quality, if they score the opening goal and they score them goals quickly, then with the players got nothing to play for, already thinking about going on the holidays, the heads start to drop and the game becomes a bit easier for City. And it is a bit easier. I'd prefer for Bournemouth and for Fulham to have not much to play for, so it takes that competitive edge away, that if City can turn up, then we should be able to pick pick up the points required to get Champions League football. That's what our season's become. Not good. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe as well if you're new around here. It is free to subscribe. Social media links are in the description as well. If you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok, email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. I will have a match vlog out for this game. I know the result's not gone Man City's way, but I'd appreciate everybody checking it out, because other than when we had kickoff at 4:30 PM BST right through to the full-time whistle at around 6:30 PM BST, I did enjoy the day, and I put a lot of effort into doing the video, so I'd appreciate anybody checking it out. That will drop later on today for you guys to enjoy. And yeah, I'll see you all again real soon for the next video. Plenty to ponder for City. Peace. Ciao for now.